After 17 years and 9 appearances in the role, Hugh Jackman is done playing Wolverine. Or so he says. In this video we'll be taking a look back at some of his best and worst moments, his reasons for leaving, and what the future holds for Fox now that one of their veterans is departing. Oh, and just a heads up, we may spontaneously break into Aussie accents at any given moment. Not to be disrespectful, because we bloody love Hugh, mate.
Speaking of people from down under, Russell Crowe was Bryan Singer's preferred choice to play Wolvie, but he turned it down. You see, he only takes high caliber comic book movie roles. He did, however, have the sense to recommend his buddy Hugh Jackman. Meanwhile, Dougray Scott was busy doing this with Tom Cruise, and the heavy and heavily rumoured Bob Hoskins was presumably getting high on shrooms in Toontown, so it was over to Hugh, who secured the role after nailing his audition. Should that be clawing?
Unlike several other comic book movie mainstays, Hugh doesn't fit the character profile exactly. Wolvie's a bit of an ugly short ass in the comics. He's edgier, more bloodthirsty, and far less charismatic. But let's face it, Hollywood was never going to cast him that way. And you have to remember, if Russell Crowe makes a recommendation, you listen. Unless you want to fight, you vagina. Despite struggling with the role initially, look, he says it right there. Hugh has firmly established himself in the role.
Since then, Hugh's transformed himself into one of the most loved CBM actors out there. So why is he hanging up the adamantium claws? Well, we all know he's not too keen on making those mad gains, but does he still need to go shirtless every couple of scenes? Here's a simple fix. Get yourself a yellow spandex suit and pad it with some fake muscles. But Hugh is absolutely committed to portraying Wolvie convincingly. And when you're pushing on 50, it can't be fun pissing around with your physique every couple of years. But you really have to respect those actors who continue to train into their seniority, even if they do look like hideous waxworks.
We also have to take into account that Hugh's done pretty much everything with the character now. I mean, why would you continue to play a part with no variation? You'd risk becoming a hideous waxwork. But in fairness to Hugh, he's given us a lot. There was that time he demolished an entire fire escape with just his claws. Most people would have just stepped out of the way. But not Hugh. Then there was that time he kept his pants on while taking on the Phoenix. Most actors would have gladly had their trousers disintegrated, but Hugh has integrity. Then there was the time he got his iconic comic book costume. Many would have relegated that scene to a DVD extra, but not our boy Hugh.
Joking aside, there have been some truly amazing moments. That cage fight from X1, the hallway fight and the Lady Deathstrike scrap in X2, going toe-to-toe with a nuclear bomb in the Wolverine, the war montage from Origins, heck, the entire X-Men Origins was incredible. Sorry, I forgot, we're done joking. The point is, whether the movie was good or bad, Hugh has always been a pillar of awesomeness. Just like his comic book alter ego, he has the superhuman ability to recover too, but in his case from bad reviews. Even outside the comic book movie world, remember Swordfish? Or Van Helsing? The Fountain? Real Steel? Pan? Nah, us neither.
Thankfully, Logan has been garnering great reviews, and with its stripped-back, character-driven approach, this couldn't have been timed better. As the latest X-Men movie discovered, audiences are growing tired of these generic global destruction-type CBMs, and we have to credit Deadpool for paving the way for R-rated comic book movies, meaning we all get to rejoice in Wolverine brutally killing bad guys without any PG-13 restraints. And it's always fun to hear Patrick Stewart say the F-word. You motherfuckers! It seems with this one, Hugh wasn't willing to compromise, and he got to make the movie he wanted to make, which is a little unusual for Fox.
Talking of Fox, there must be a few sweaty executives now Hugh is leaving the franchise. Yes, they have Deadpool, but he's yet to prove his longevity. It's telling that Fox have been bolstering their ex-properties in recent months, in both TV and movies, and while we're confident they can survive with or without Hugh, it will be interesting to see if they recast the role, and how they go about doing it. Sansa Stark tells us the new X-Men movie starts shooting soon. It's probably too early to bring the Wolverine character back just yet, but this is Bryan Singer and Fox, a partnership that hasn't made the best choices over the last 17 years. The bloody bogans.
The most likely place we'll see the old knucklehead reappear is in an X-Force movie, if that ever happens. Interestingly, we had Ryan Reynolds, Hugh and Pierce Brosnan appearing in a mysterious Instagram photo together recently. Many took this as confirmation that they'll all be in the X-Force/Deadpool 2 movie, but there are problems with this theory. First off, it's plain to see Pierce Brosnan will make a terrible Cable, plus Hugh has repeatedly confirmed Logan will be his last time in the role, though he did mention he's not sure how he'll feel in 3 years.
Without reading too much into this, we know other actors have struggled giving up roles they're synonymous with. Christian Bale's probably the most well-known example, and we're certain Andrew Garfield loved his role so much he would have made shitty Spider-Man movies for the rest of his life. Who knows, maybe Ryan Reynolds will use his internet trickery to get through to Hugh and convince him for one last, last time, if the role hasn't been recast by then. Never say never, right?
The thing with Wolverine is there's no obvious replacement, and how would you recast after Hugh? Do they choose someone with similar attributes and charisma, or do they flip it on its head and cast closer to the comics? Call us crazy, but we'd like to see someone edgier take over the role. It might prove successful in reigniting the stagnating X films. Many have touted Tom Hardy as a possibility, and though he's definitely edgy, the guy is just too goddamn handsome. Maybe a better idea would be just to cast another unknown. Either that or just get Michael B. Jordan. Or maybe Ben Affleck will be available.
Whomever they choose is going to be a bitter pill to swallow not seeing Hugh in the role anymore. He's the best there is at what he does. For now though, it looks like the plan is to pass the flame on to Dafne Keen's X-23, who seems to be doing a fine job tearing people limb from limb, so he won't exactly be clawless. Question is, how will she fit into the ever-confusing timeline? Will she be involved with Cable somehow? Or will they send her back to the future past to mingle with McAvoy, Fassbender, and all those blue bastards running around? Right now, we're only sure of one thing.
I can't live if living is without you. I can't give anymore. So here's a question for Hugh. Who would you cast as the new Wolverine? Or is Hugh Jackman the only Wolvie in your mind? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and be sure to like and subscribe. You bloody mongrel. Thanks for watching.